Hello, friends and patrons. Welcome to part 4 of my Everyone Can Draw series. This project is brought to you by the work that we're doing on a children's book over on at Patreon. You can come and support us at patreon.com/OnoHenry. That's OnoHenry with an I. Description in the box below. Today we're going to be focusing on shading and transitions between tones, specifically drawing and shading an onion. This builds up on the work that we did in part 1, 2, and 3. If you don't know what they're about and you'd like a refresher, I suggest that you follow the links I will provide in the box below. I want to provide you with a series of easy exercises that every single person can do that build up over time to develop your drawing skills. I want to give you a framework of easy and accessible exercises that you can use to build up on so that you can draw every day for 5 to 10 minutes and over time develop real drafting skills. Today we're going to be building on from where we ended at the end of lesson 3. We have drawn our triangles and shapes. We have broken the form down into basic and easy shapes. We have then filled each one of those shapes with a very specific tone. What we're doing now, what we're focusing on now is what is called shading, where we work on the transitions between certain tones. Let's go into it in a bit more detail here. What we have in front of us is a series of shapes. These shapes are quite complex and organic, but they have been built on from very simple shapes, from triangles and squares and circles. All of this is covered in the earlier lessons. Each of these shapes has been given a tone, assigned a tone value, whether I think it's a light or a dark. I now work on the transition between those particular shapes. And here I must give a lot of credit to the great Marco Bucci on YouTube. You definitely should check out the work that he does. And he has a great way of describing it, which is basically he divides all shape edges into 3 types, into hard, soft, and lost. And while I didn't learn it using that terminology is so great, I have appropriated it wholesale. So a soft edge is what you can see on the right-hand side of the onion, is where you can see the shape, you can see the basic shape, but the exact edge has been lost. It's soft. It's fuzzy. A hard edge is what you can see on the far left side of the onion, where there is a very clear transition between the shapes. A lost edge is what is more akin to what you can see here that I'm working on at the bottom of the onion, where you know that there is a transition between the 2 shapes and the 2 tones, but you can no longer directly assign where the actual edge is. Where does it begin and where does it end? It's all part of the language of art. It allows you to transform these basic, flat, abstract shapes into forms. You decide exactly how you're going to render them and where it's going to lead the drawing. For example, as you can see, I like to make my hard edges even harder, sometimes with using little black line as accents. In small details and texture, of course, the transition becomes a lot more difficult to ascertain. But all you're doing when you're drawing, when you're practicing drawing, is starting from the basics to the general. If you can't get that basic roundness of the onion, it doesn't matter getting lost into the texture of the onion skin. So remember what we're doing here. We're not working on doing beautiful finished drawings. That you can do on your own, and there are plenty of artists that can help you with that. Right now, what I want to share and impart with you is how to sketch, how to train your eye and your brain. And so what you're going to be doing is, after you build up your basic forms, after you built up your basic shapes, and assign them tones, you're now going to go on to exercise 4, which is this one, which is you're going to start training your eye to see the kind of transitions between shapes. Are the transitions soft, hard, or lost? This builds on you being able to accurately gauge the tones, accurately gauge the more complex shapes, and being able to accurately gauge basic proportions. And that's it for today. Remember to draw every day, at least 5 to 10 minutes, if not longer. Follow these exercises or don't. It's your call, of course. I think that they will help. And you will see improvement over time. Drawing is a skill set that's attainable to everyone. That's why I called this series Everyone Can Draw. Not only some people can draw. From here, you will begin a long and exciting journey into the arts. I look forward to hearing from you. Please support and like us on the channel. Support us on Patreon if it tickles you. Otherwise, just make the world more beautiful by spreading art everywhere.